stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited minds sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Diving deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. In the ring we stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. Of course, you know where you're at. You're at Spartan 2 Network. I'm your host, the Spartan, aka Peter. This topic came in my mind very recently. And I'll give you a little backstory why it came into my mind so you guys understand this. So, I made it publicly lately. I am in a very healthy and happy relationship with my lady, my beautiful lady. And hopefully, she's listening and put a smile on her face. In that relationship, I came in with 2 kids. And I just found out very recently those 2 kids are also looking at me as a father figure. But I had to tread this in a certain way. And I use that very lightly the way I say it because I didn't want to step in and say I'm replacing your father because I'm not. I can't do that. Father's a father. End of the day. If my opinion about the person is a whole different story, and I want to bring it up. That is my personal opinion between me and my lady, and I will keep it off the air. And I believe everybody will respect that. So, what's going on, my man? So how I felt how I should be parenting these kids is more like a father figure slash friend. Let me rephrase that: father slash friend. Because thank you, Greg. It means a lot for coming from you, man. Because and sorry, forgot to turn the phone off. Yes, I am that old. If you heard Jensen's ringtone, but I need to tread this is a different way versus like a maybe in a different scenario. Let's say the father wasn't non-existent. Maybe he abandoned him, passed away, whatever. But this is not the fact. I have to tread this a little differently. I treat this as a father slash friend because, excuse me, guys, because I don't want them to feel like I'm making them call me dad. No, absolutely not. Now, if they want to come to me and says, "Hey, I want you to be dad to me," that's a different story. That's a conversation I'm going to have with my lady and with them at the point. But the topic is, should you be friends with your children? Yes, I agree with that 100%. And I'm very passionate about that because if you're not friends with your children, they can go sideways very, very fast, sideways, like that. We don't want that. And obviously, Greg says he's been in my shoes, and the little time I've been with these kids' lives, definitely with my boy, I have changed him in so many shape or way and form. And I made a comment to him very recently, and he didn't understand that. I made a comment to him, and we were talking over Messenger, and I go to him, "I am proud of you. I am very proud of you, son." And he goes to me, "Thank you." Then he goes to his mother, "Hey, mom, why is Pete proud of me?" She goes, "Simple, bro. Maybe not the exact words, but maybe, you have changed so much since Pete got in your life, and in the best. Because, like as being a young man, even a young woman, you might have anger because why is this happening in my life? Why are not my parents together? But if you become his friend and try to guide him through that, it changes anything. And he's right about this one. My advice: don't try and buy their love. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to buy the love. You want to earn their love and their respect. And I have earned that. Hey, Eric, what's going on, my man? Good to see you, my man. So, in my case, I've earned their respect and their love. On Father's Day, I get a text message. This is shit my goddamn pants, and like I needed toilet paper size of fucking Canada, and that's how much I shit my goddamn pants when I got. My phone goes off. I'm like, oh, it's my daughter. That's how I call them now. I call them my son and my daughter. Nothing wrong with that. And I had that conversation with my lady, and she's completely comfortable, and the kids are comfortable with that. And I looked at it, it was my daughter. I'm like, huh. I opened it, and it got me very, very emotional saying Happy Father's Day, and thank you for being in my life, and thank you how you take care of my mom. And it was, I mean, it was like 5, 6 paragraphs, so like I'm not gonna go over every little thing, and it shows to me the little impact I have done to them in a little time. We held off being around the kids for a while because we want to make sure this is going to be a long term or a short term. And obviously, this is a long term kind of situation. And the first thing I did is become their friend. Like me and my daughter, we both bust each other so hard. And my girl looks like shakes her hand. She goes like, "Seriously, you gonna do this?" Yep. And my nickname for her, and I know it sounds so inappropriate to call your daughter this, but this is my relationship with her, and I'm cool with it. My girl is cool with it. My daughter's cool with it. My nickname to her is Broken Condom. Yes, you heard that correct, ladies and gentlemen. My nickname for my daughter is Broken Condom. And my nickname for her is Pussy. And my reply is, I'm not a pussy. I do some other things. And I don't want to get into details. Yeah, I think you get the idea. And my woman goes like, will you fucking stop? But that's the kind of relationship we have. And she loves it. We break each other's balls. Now with my son is more little more manly stuff. Like we talk about cars. We talk about tools. He's into the rodeo a lot, horses. I'm not really into the horses too recently. I'm not really a horse guy, but I'm into the rodeo lately. I got a cowboy hat, cowboy boots. I got into it. I got into the culture. Part of it was to be connected with him. The other part of it, because my lady got me into it too, and I said, "Oh, this is excellent, cool." So if she's watching, this is your goddamn fault. I was happy being a heavy metal, metalhead, but no, you had to do this to me. All right, I said my piece. But things like these, you need to connect. Now, the question is, how do you know this, Spartan? How do you know this? Really fast. I got a comment I want to read off really fast from Greg. Believe me, it's don't work there will want more money out of you. I had an ex kids do that to me, and I'm not giving her money. No, that's not kind of relationship. And it's weird how you put it. That's why it took me so hard to read that. But my situation is not like Pete buy me this, Pete do this, Pete give me this. No, absolutely not. This is not the kind of situation we are in. Our situation is more father figures relationship, like sitting down and having conversation. Like if they have a meltdown for some reason, I talk to them. Like if my daughter has an issue with her boyfriend, she comes to me. Um, if we're doing every silly thing, it doesn't matter what it is. I planned family nights, and they love that. My girl loves it. We love it. Like for example, I sent a family text to everybody, and I said to them, and they're not really gamers, but my son's trying to get into the gaming because of me. I'm a gamer. I go, hey guys, this Friday we are having a gaming night. We're playing video games and we're playing Nintendo. And guess what? Your mom is playing too. Reply, my lady goes, yay. Then my daughter goes, I don't know how to play video games. You're gonna learn. Me being a smart ass, like, let's see who can knock the king out. The kahuna. So I make it fun. I got board games. I make sure we have dinner. Like the first family night I made burgers for everybody. My daughter's boyfriend was there. He was appreciated. He was such a good guy about that. And I did it. But I'm not the only person who does this. My first guest. He has been a similar situation I have been. So I'm gonna bring him in. Obviously, he's from Planet Vegeta. He uses the baby oil way too much on his goddamn fucking head. And I gotta bring him in now. So let's bring him in. You really screwed that one up tonight.
Delicious. Oh, come on.
You good over there, bud? All right, let me bring the
Oh,
next guy in
this
here,
is
and like
great.
I need to get him a good ringtone. I get a good comment. You know what? I'm gonna give he knows Dragon Ball Z is, so I'm gonna give him the same one.
Yes.
All right.
Look, I got Broly on. I got Broly on, y'all.
Yeah, I saw that in the backstage. I'm like, I gotta give him the same one. So Jay, what is going on, my
Ah,
man?
sorry about that. What's up,
No,
Jay?
you're good.
No, you good, guys. I'm just doing some. I'm just doing some 3 hours studying. I did a lot of running around today. I had an hour drive from my train spot. I'm working for AT&T. As you guys can see, oh hold on, that's my screen cover. Sorry, man. Went to my screen cover. Sorry about that. Don't worry. It wasn't anything inappropriate. It was just the Pokemon thing. But yeah, I'm running all these lines and things like that. You know, what
Uh-huh.
tiers I put people into, and that's my job. I set up the tiers at the end and the lines. Once I do that, the sale is done, and the installment is done, and I get my pay. On to
Oh,
the
so
Nice.
next
you're,
one.
you're a sales rep.
Yeah, I'm a sales rep. But base pay is supposed to be 1100. Is what you told me. I had to go ask the receptionist lady again because I wanted to make sure that was reaffirmed. And she said it was so you get two types of payments. The one that's commission is the ones that after every sale you do. Base pay is every weekly is your 1100 basically. So I'm like, that's all I need to know. That's all I care about.
So you're
I
doing
need some.
from home still, and you make commission at the same time. So that's a win-win for you. You get both sides,
Yeah,
right?
That's real
And
yeah.
good.
a lot of companies have been doing that lately. I realized like car salesmen and all that stuff. And they keep a
They get
little.
well. I'll tell you this: they got to do that if they want to keep people in, and also people work hard for the money because it needs something to start off with. And
Yeah.
not to mention, I'm thinking of. I don't know if I told you guys, I'm thinking of moving into a new place pretty much in 2 months. But
I remember you
I
You
got,
mentioned
said
that.
you mentioned that. You did mention that.
but yeah, 8. But I need 8 weeks with these places to see what happens, and I'm gonna get back in touch with the apartment people. I'll start the application, and then
Good
it's
shit,
not a
man.
bad drive. Yeah,
Good
yeah, it's
shit.
not a bad drive.
That's
Yeah, but
good.
that's something I want to do. But tomorrow we're doing presentate. We're doing the pitch and everything, and once we do that, and then on Thursday, then we're going to be out with the leaders, and then I'm going to put all my skills, everything I know, how to communicate and everything in the test. But
So my
I've
question to you, Jay, are you actually at an NTT store or are you in a call center doing sales?
not in the call center. I'm not promising I'm not in the call center. That'd be crazy. It'd be a little bit easier, but because I ain't got to go outside and talk to nobody.
That's a
but
good thing.
but no. But here's the thing: I prefer to talk to actual people because, um, with the delivery job that I was doing, you guys all well know you have to talk to people in case they have issues.
Right.
And I have like 8, 9, 10 years of customer delivery experience and customer service experience. So probably a little bit more than that, probably like 10 or 12 at this point. So I have
Mm,
enough there to experience to help me deal with other people and how to actually appeal to other people so I can help them out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I said, because my thing is just here to help them and not talk to salesmen at all. I'm just gonna talk to them like regular people, and then once I do that, we'll make it quick and then we'll knock it out. Like I
right.
said, the longest you should always like really these things should take. I'm gonna figure it out, but I think a minimum is gonna be like 8, 10 minutes
Right.
to do everything, to see what phones they have, do it real quick, set up the lines, and then by 10 minutes have passed, you're gone, you go to the next person. But we're hitting up businesses is what we're doing. We're not actually hitting up regular people though. So what they so when because what they're told me how I've been hearing it is if they're but if you walk past people in the passing like a FedEx driver who wants to change his phone from Verizon to AT&T phone internet service and new phone, you can do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it'd take a second, but well, actually, it probably take probably a
All
little more
right,
than 15 minutes to
Jay,
do on that.
I got to
Other
roast
than that,
somebody really fast. You want to handle my business, or you want me to do this because he thinks and Dragon Ball Z it's not that good.
oh wait, can you show me the comment? I can kind of see it.
Hey,
Don't sweat the
Anton, he
DB.
goes, don't sweat the DBZ too much. There are much better animes to watch. I
Well,
disagree. I
well,
think
well,
DBZ's
well
top of the top ones.
okay, okay. They're not right, but they're not wrong.
I'm not saying
Here's
that.
why. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. I know you didn't say that,
Yeah, what I'm gonna say, if
but
he's gonna
they're
use
all
a
good.
Dragon Ball Z theme to come into this, he needs to know the material. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he needs to know material. I agree with that. Now I'm agreeing with. I'm
All right,
agreeing with
let's
that.
see the next person in here. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. All right, Paul. I do apologize. I just saw your message in the background. I do apologize again. All right, Paul fixes his audio issue. Let's start going around the table. I did my open monologue, and I think most of you guys heard it, right, guys?
I caught some of it, but not all of it.
All
That
right,
cost
so
some of it.
all right, so this is a small version of it. Recently I made it public. I'm in a very healthy and happy relationship. She came with two kids, and these kids are looking at me as father. But I did not want to jump in like, "Hey, I'm the new dad. Get the fuck out of the way," kind of old man. No, I came into it as
Wow.
their friend. So I do believe you could be a parent and a friend to the children. And that little time I've been with them in their lives, I have done. We have transformed them, and like she doesn't even recognize them sometimes because because that's how I am. You know what I'm saying? Come on,
Right,
spark. It is. And I know you, Anton, you have something similar too, correct?
right. I have
You
two.
want
Yeah, my two
you want
oldest
to take over?
daughters. Sure, my two oldest daughters. My wife and I fostered to adopt. Uh, they're now 23 and 22, and
Mhm.
we have three grandsons because of them. Both of them grew up in the foster care system. Both of them sadly had to endure a lot of stuff. And I remember when Zeta first came to stay with us and everything else, we talked and everything. And I told her, I know I'm not your father, but give me a chance to be your dad. And I told her, you will know, like, I didn't force her to call me dad. I said, you will know when the time is right. And so a situation happened where a friend came to visit her on a scheduled weekend visit, on our scheduled weekend visit. Her and her friend kind of went somewhere they said they weren't supposed to go. They said they wanted to go to a pizzeria. First, they said they wanted to go to McDonald's. No problem. Then they said they wanted pizza. Okay, there's a pizzeria right down the street. Problem is, they didn't go to the local spot. They went to a Domino's. She calls me up saying that she's lost. I asked her where she is. She said she's at a Domino's. I said, go outside, look to your left. If you see a train track, do you see a set of train tracks and a platform? And she was shocked that I knew where she is. I said, stay put. I'm on my way. Got there in 15 minutes. Brought them both outside the parlor. I started talking to her friend. I didn't threaten them. I didn't yell at them. I didn't curse them out. And Peter, since you know people in the military, I gave him the knife hand.
Damn.
So I had to explain to him the new parameters. I was like, she's now part of my flock. My wife is the shepherd. I am the sheepdog. So I had to basically let him know, like, listen, this is how it's going to be working right now. He was apologizing. He realized he messed up. My daughter's trying to get my attention. She calls me by my name first time. I'm still talking to the guy. She calls my name the second time. I'm still talking to the guy. Third time, Dad, stop. That's enough. We get the food. We go back to my house. She's talking to my niece and my little sis. It's my wife's sister, but I call her little sis. My wife and I have been together so long. I helped her raise her siblings after their mom died. So my daughter's telling them what happened and everything else. And my niece and little sis laughed, and they said, now you're officially part of the family. And my daughter was like, what do you mean? And then my niece and little sis explained to her, if he's like that, that means he loves you. He's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you're safe. He's protective of the boys, but he looks out for the boys, but he's very protective of us girls. So a lot of the things that he may do, if you feel like he's embarrassing you, he's not embarrassing you. He only wants what's best for you. He wants you to be safe. And if you send him to hell, he'll come back with Lucifer's head in one hand and Cerberus on a leash with another. And that was for the first time she had a male figure come to light that actually, cared about her well-being.
if I may cut you off for a second, Anton, please.
Uh-huh.
So recently, I said my girl's daughter. I call her my daughter because that's how close we got.
Right.
We are both we break each other's balls. Like her nickname for me, I know it's inappropriate. Is I call her broken condom, and she calls me pussy. That's our nickname back and forth.
Wow. Okay, that's kind
Yo!
of
Savage!
Yeah, we roast each other really bad.
Yo!
My girl has pissed herself laughing so hard. How about me and her roast
bro.
each other?
Peter,
With
I'm
all due
afraid.
respect, with all due respect, I sound like you got an emo punk daughter. Like
she's
that
a girly
crazy.
girl, bro. She's a girly girl. But
Yeah.
she that's me and her. That's how we are. But anyway, I got a
Girly
text.
girls don't sound like that. Kids promise you that.
Fuck
Like, God
off.
damn. Hey,
Let me get
hey,
my
man.
point across.
No, no, go ahead, man.
I don't want to get into too much detail on the text because it was a little personal.
Right.
But one thing I said to her in the
I feel
text,
you.
we are family. Family does whatever. And I told my girl this, like anybody can lay in bed and fuck, and anybody can do that.
Right.
It takes a special man to become a father and a father who are not his kids. Agree, Anton?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right, Jay, you're up, my man. You want to give your open thoughts?
Oh, there's nothing I can really say now. I don't. Now, I don't have any daughters or sons currently. Everybody knows me. I'm being smart with how I come to that. But I do have equivalent to like nieces and nephews who look up to me. So that kind of like made me want to get my act together a little bit to be a good role model. Um, I got too many goddamn nieces now. I got less nephews than I do nieces. But my damn brother tried to go for it. Tried to go for a son. He ended up with a daughter, third daughter, and I'm like, yeah, that's what makes it gambling, really. But you can't choose what you get. He thought he could do a split like my brother, like our little brother. Little brother had a son first, and then he had two daughters after. That's what it was. And by the way, I want to say something about my brothers. They're all married to the same woman, so none of them have two different baby mom. Like no, they
None
are
of the
legally
drama.
married to
None
their
of the
lady.
drama. That's good.
None of
That's
that.
good.
Exactly. So I got good examples. So, but at the same time, I would have after the third one. I mean, nah, I'm okay with having twins. If I get twins on the first go, I pray I get twins. The God blessed me with that. I'm like, I'm done after that. Two boys or two girls, I don't care. I'm done. I'm done. Sweetheart, sorry. No more kids after that. Two. That you bless us both with two, and that'd be enough. But yeah, no, but when it comes to like kids, just like kids interactions and things like that, yeah, they'll so I'll be on the phone with like their dad, and then they'll be like, "Is Uncle Jay on the phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," and then my brother will be like, "Yeah, yeah, he's on the phone," and they'll like try to fight. They'll try to find my brother to get the phone from him and try to talk to me. And they say, "Uncle Jay, when you gonna take us to? We gonna take us to the amusement park?" And I said, and I told him, I said, "Hey, listen, I'll take you to the amusement park when you stop torturing your dad and your mom."
All right, Paul. Um,
But so little
oh
things
yeah,
like that.
totally.
Right.
So just little things that they tease
Yeah,
me on. But
Paul,
yeah.
can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can.
All right. So tonight's topic
All right,
That's
Mr.
good.
Bennett.
could you be friends with your children? I say yes, personally.
Of course you could.
Yeah. And
Um,
go ahead.
yeah, I think some of this is generational. I think some of it's economic. Um, and quite frankly, some of it is survival. I think that certainly parenthood has certainly changed over years. Certainly, I think my dad's generation, born in the 30s, farming community, pretty much, and children were utility. Children were labor. So the idea of being friends with your kids and all that kind of stuff that might not have been the thing to do, and also there were practical considerations. My dad came from 13. My mom came from 9. So where are you going to have this time to be quote unquote friends with your kids when you got all these other kids that you have to take care of and all the other responsibilities that you have to do. There's a lot of work to do. So again, you're not going to their practices, you're not going to their football games or cheerleading practices or dance classes because a lot of those things to a lot of people simply wasn't available or affordable at that time. But you had kids to put them to work. Um, there was also certainly a time in this country when you had again a lack of child labor laws. Kids will work to death, and so so that society, how children were looked at, and not all the sexes weren't even equal. Like having a daughter wasn't a necessarily a good thing. Your legacy was tied to the sons that you had, not the daughters you had. So, you know, I think earlier generations thought of children, I think, very differently, more so utility, um, more so security. And I think for those reasons, the idea of friendship really couldn't have a foothold in the conversation because there was just other things, other priorities and whatnot, and your needs weren't necessarily at first of center. But certainly as time goes on, so you go from this sort of farming agricultural age, you go into an industrial age where, again, there's certainly a lot of, again, some of that same view of a child still goes on, right? Like I said, the factory kids working in sweatshops and factories and whatnot. And again, your role was basically to be a contributor one way or another. But certainly with the industrial age, then you have the information age, now you have the social media age, people having fewer children. Now, I came from the youngest of five. My wife is the middle of six. Those families are kind of rare. I mean, that's why Anton and even you have like a blended sort of situation. But your family's still big. I mean, it's like, there's at one point in time, there might have been 5, 6 kids in your house. That's not common unless you're religiously conservative or you just live a very different lifestyle. But even in those homes, the idea of friendship isn't necessarily adopted per se because it can't. There has to be order. There has to be structure. There has to be, because you can't be having these conversations with every kid every night. I mean, just the time doesn't allow for it.
Right.
But now people are having smaller families. 1, 2 is the average, even though it needs to be 2.1. But 1 to 2 seems to be the average. I mean, when I had 3 kids, people was like, "Wow, you got 3 kids!" Like as if there was a thing. Like I said, my dad comes from 13, right? So certainly the birth rates have gone down, and now you have these situations where you can have a much more intimate relationship with your kids. You don't have to be so removed because you have all these other children to consider. And so I think that the parenting has changed for all those reasons I talked about: economics, utility, how you view children. And it's not always the case that, a lot of parents now aren't looking at their kids to be their security. I remember Kevin Sam used to say all the time, it's like, that's the worst thing a responsibility, even though you can go back to the Bible or whatever, you're supposed to honor your mother and father in the land that the Lord your God gives you, honor your parents in their old age. But there's a train of thought now. We did a gray area show that we talked about how parenting is changing, that people are opting out of having kids. You don't have that social stigma the way you used to if you don't want kids or not. King and Michelle, they talked about it on their show this past Monday on what their decision not to have kids. And a lot of people are making that decision. So if you are going to have kids, your view of them is going to be very different. The reasons why you have them is going to be very different. And it's not always because you want them to take care of you in your old age. And for a lot of people these days, the mindset is they think that's a selfish reason. to have kids. If you have kids because you want them to be your security, he said that's a selfish reason. Again, generations past, that was unheard of. It was like, what do you mean? That's, of course, that's exactly what they're supposed to do. That's exactly why you have them. Before there was government interaction, your children were your security.
Hmm. And so like that in some cultures too.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so the question itself can take on different meanings depending on that dynamic, how things have changed over the years. But then second, we have to define our terms, because the idea of friendship, I think, is one of the most confusing of relationships currently present today. There are a lot of people who don't know what friendship is,
Yeah.
and they confuse friendship or a friend with a buddy. And I see a lot of young people, you have a lot of buddies. You have a lot of, in fact, I may take this another way. The title of the show, can you be friends with your kids, if this was like the verses, this is parents versus children. I mean, parents versus friends. Really, before I even came on tonight, I was thinking about it in my head when I saw the title of the show. Really, I think a lot of this is about nurturers versus enablers,
Mm.
because a lot of people classify friends, at least the way they go about it. And trust me, I got it in my own house. I've seen it up close. You have a lot of enablers. But the older I get and the more I understand what friendship is not about enabling, it's about nurturing. It's about an environment that wants your betterment. And I'm seeing, especially with younger, like I said, I got it in my house. I'm not, looking at glass houses here. It even comes here. Sometimes my daughters don't know what a true friend is, because in the long run, they're actually hurting them. They're putting them into situations that are dangerous, put them into situations that where they're losing money, health risks, because everything's about enabling. Yeah, girl, get it, girl. Yeah, yep, do your thing, girl. And I'm like, a friend says no. A friend says, we ain't doing that. Oh, you want to go? No, we ain't doing that. We ain't going. Or if you're going there, you're not going by yourself. Friends cover one another. Friends protect each other. Friends want the best. There's no jealousy or envy. But I got a house full of this drama, and all these things are coming up: jealousy, envy, just going and just doing all of these things, and nobody's checking anybody. So I got to ask the question: what is a friend?
A
And if you
person.
want to say if your parent can be your friend, I say yes. My dad and I didn't get along a whole lot at all. But with age and wisdom, I understand he was one of the best friends I ever had, even though I didn't like him very much. So this whole conversation, I think, is we got to really start to um, rethink.
Peel back the onions, kind of.
Yeah, because it's
So I'll be honest with you, Paul. To me, everybody has their own definition of a friend. Can we agree on that tonight?
That's
Okay.
fair.
and I think that's dangerous. Yes, but it's
Yes,
dangerous.
I totally agree with you. But I would say, for me personally, a friend who has my back. Like, for example, how many times would me and you be on a phone and you grounded me because I was having a bad day? You know what I'm saying? A person who tells you, "Hey, I'm about to, I don't like this guy. I'm gonna fucking fight him right now, but I'm gonna go to jail for that. You talk me out of it, or getting in bad situations, getting me, put me, grounding me to the again and building me up as a person." And
Mm.
that's one thing I am very proud of this network. We all build each other up as friends, and I consider you guys family too.
But what does that mean, though?
Which part?
The building each other up.
Building up, like for example, if you are struggling with something, how can we make you better? That's how I look at it. That's me.
Okay, that's fine.
And you might have a different definition for that, and that's fair. I'm not going to argue. But, I learned something in my experience of doing this for a while. Everybody has their own definition of some words. My definition of building up is making somebody better. Let's pick you up. Like for example, Anton is really good with sports. Let's we talked about it. We'll get him a sports show soon. Let's get him to where he needs to be. Same thing with you, Paul. Like you're good at talking. I can be honest. You could be a radio host one day if you wanted to be. You have the voice. I'm gonna deny it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why you have your Gen X show, and this is why you're the VP of this network. You get what I'm saying now?
Well, yeah, I mostly agree with you. I kind of asked the question rhetorically, but what I'm telling you is there's a lot of people who believe that friendship is something else. It's not about making you better. It's not or the way they look at picking you up is simply to co-sign and agree on everything that you want.
No, I disagree with that.
No.
But I'm saying, but even when it comes to the parenting thing, because I think the thrust of your show, at least when I see the title is, can parents be friends to their children? A lot of parents think that being a friend to your children means being cool with your kids or going along or enabling your kids.
Right.
And that's not what
100%.
friendship is. But for a lot of people, that's how they interpret friendship. That there can be no structure, there can be no order, there can be no rules. But like I said, even with friends, if I heard Anton or Sparta or Jay saying something out of pocket,
You're checking.
I'm gonna snatch him up.
Right.
Like, nah, bro, that's wrong.
And the other thing I want to add to this, Paul, and I'm sorry to cut you off, I apologize, is a friend should also motivate you. I use my best friend CQ, for example, and he has told me multiple times I have motivated him to do better on his network because it's what we do on this network. I don't see it, but I'll take the credit. For once, I'll take the credit from it. But I don't, I might not see it, but he sells most of my. If it wasn't you pushing yourself so hard doing what we do on his network, he wouldn't be pushing his WFC Nation as hard.
Yeah.
Motivation comes in different shape, ways, forms. And I know you are weird about the word no motivation. I do understand that.
Mhm.
But hey, if it works for him, why can't it work for somebody else?
Right. But I'm saying, but a parent can do exactly the same thing.
I totally agree.
And that's why, again, that's why I'm okay with the general term. Can you be friends with your children? Assuming you know what friendship really is. But I think that's the problem. Nobody is operating off of a definition that is useful, that is mindful. That's why I'm spending so much time on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that confusion is what's leading to so many parents saying, hey, call me by my first name, or hey, we're not going to have any rules, or
No, I
hey, we're not
disagree
going to
with
do
that.
this or that.
No.
Or
That's
whatever.
crazy.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but that's for a lot of, and this trend kind of thought it might have started like in the 70s, the whole hippie parenting thing or whatever it was. That calling by my first
can't
name and all
imagine a
that,
hippie
like all
parent.
this anti-authority, and I'm saying that kind of situation. Now again, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to go back to that old type of parenting either, where parents weren't available, where parents weren't people you could go and tell your secrets to. Like, I would hope my daughter, I hope that they trust me enough they can tell me anything, or we can have a conversation. Now but the problem with them a lot of times, why they may not have a conversation with me, is because they're not looking to have a conversation. They're looking for agreement. They're looking for co-signing on what it is. But if they want the truth or a different perspective than the one that they're sending me, then I'm more than happy to have that conversation. But my kids know they can talk to me about anything, especially now. And in fact, I think our friendship, I think, has grown to a certain, because I certainly get this, that there's a point in time when I think you have to be dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We
up
have a question
to,
in the
I would
comments,
say
by the way.
age, maybe, I don't know. It's going to change depending on your depending on your kid. But there was like there's certain things that they don't need to know.
Right.
But it's interesting, the older that they've gotten, when they became 18, 19, 20, etc.
On their 30s.
Well, like I said, younger than that for me, but I'm just saying, but now I'm opening up the book. Like I have nothing to hide. I can talk about times when I was nervous or scared or uncertain, or I can talk about the struggles that I had as a kid, as a young adult, as a teenager, my background, my life, my parents, the abuses that I had. I would never tell them that when they were 10 and 12,
Right.
because they
You are
didn't
right
need
for that.
that at 10 and 12.
Exactly.
They needed a dad. Like I needed to be Superman to them. I needed to be like that standard bearer. And in many ways I still am, but it's interesting now that they're older, now that they're more mature, when I tell them these stories about my life and how rough it was, I stand 10 times higher in their eyes. Because I did overcome some things.
Right.
But they didn't need to know that. They didn't know that we were financially struggling for a time. They don't need to know that. So I think that now, as I have these adults in the house, yeah, I could have a certain level of transparency that I couldn't enjoy at the time. And so I think friendship can certainly, at this age now, I would hope to be more of a friend to them now than a parent. If I still have to be a parent at their ages now, that's a problem.
Right. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I know. I totally agree. So before we move on, Paul, I wanted to give a shout out to my boy, Angel. He's popping in. He says, "Oh, what's up, guys? And my man, it's good to see you, and I hope you're doing well." And he followed up with a question, and this is an interesting question. Would you say that in a friendship, is both parties are on equal grounds, Paul?
Again, define equal.
Mm.
I hate to say it. I mean, look, there is authority, right? That is kind of separate. I mean, yes, are we all equal in the eyes of God and precious as human beings, as each one has intrinsic value? Yes. But there's lines of authority that need to be respected in society. If your man was a police officer, yeah, we could be friends, but I got to respect the authority or the position that he has. And it's the thing. There is love and there's respect. And the way I've always defined it is this. You love people. You respect positions.
That's
So
it.
again, I can. So like I said, I can love anybody, and we love that love. Again, we on equal terms. You're made in the image of God. So yes, I can extend that to everybody. But if you're my doctor, well, I had a doctor's appointment today, I'm submitting to you because you're my doctor.
Right.
Whether we roll, we friends, we boys, and all that, I'm gonna shut up. I'm not gonna try to overstep my bounds because I don't know what you know. If you're a police officer or a judge or just an older or an OG, I'm gonna have a certain level of respect for you. Can I have friends that are 20 and 30 years younger than me? Sure. But then there's a respect that goes, or hopefully a respect that is earned, where there's certain lines that aren't crossed. That there's a respect that comes with age. There's a respect that comes with maturity. And I would never diss an older guy, like I'm 56, guy 76, 80 years old. I would never. disrespect an older G like that. Certainly not publicly. Even if we got to have it out behind and close the door, or whatever, and have it out, then fine. But I would never do it. I would never disrespect a woman in that way. Even though, yes, we're on equal terms, but again, I'm not going to use certain. I'm not going to say certain things. I'm not going to do certain language. So again, so there's the person, and then there's the position
Right.
that person holds in society that must be respected. And parents is a position that needs to be respected.
Oh yeah.
And of course, there can be friendship. Especially the way I define friendship, if you're talking about people who nurture, who build you up, who edify, who keep you out of trouble, who protect you, who will tell you the truth,
Exactly.
the way it is, then yeah, absolutely. But you don't have to be on the same level. Again, in terms of position, you don't have to be positionally on a level. But I remember like that scene from Karate Kid. Mr. Miyagi gives him the car, and he's about to drive off, and Daniel looks at Miyagi and says, "You're the best friend I ever had." This guy's 50, 60 years older than Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also a respect. He's my sensei. He's my OG. He's my elder. But you could tell there was a bond there. There was genuine love there. There was friendship there. He was going to look out for him, and Daniel was going to look out for Mr. Miyagi.
Exactly.
That bond was tight. But there's levels. And I think to have a healthy relationship, a healthy society dynamic, I think there has to be those levels. And I think it also, at the same time, I think it goes both ways. I don't like it, and I understand when you have younger generations not appreciating the OGs because the OGs kind of want to stay in charge.
Yeah.
I think there should be a natural transition of the older stepping off the stage and letting the young people drive. If you did your job right, and guys, how many times have I talked about this? To me, this is nature. This is biology. Our job as biological agents is to grow and to build a better, stronger, faster, smarter version of ourselves. And you got a lot of OG mentality and a lot of parenting mentality that wants to keep their kids forever under them.
That doesn't work.
It can't work.
Yeah.
But then these same people complain, why this generation so lazy? Why are they not doing what we did?
Why they're not motivated?
You never empowered them to do what you did because you wanted to stay in charge.
Right.
I said, sort of controversy on BMU show. I said, you should be if you have a son, you should be raising that son to kick your butt physically.
I actually remember that.
I just believe that. If you're not raising your son, like I said, he should be better than you. And Coach and I talk about on our show, on our Next Gen Training show, we talk about pies, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Those are 4 areas of growth that we talk about on the show. Your children should reflect a better version physically. Again, if she's a woman or whatever, but even then, I mean, you got girls now kick your butt too. I'm just saying, but you should be wanting that for your kids. And let's say, like I know BMU, he talked about he has his son was kind of feeling himself a little bit, and in his household they put the gloves on. Right, you manning up, all right, knuckle up. So we get the gloves on. Mm-hmm. And BMU said his son caught him one time. Like really caught him. He's like, oh snap. So BMU, he had to kind of go into the bag, and he had to land the liver shot. And that was all she wrote. But even in that, what I would say is this. If I'm BMU, if I was in that situation, I got a son and he's like 14, 15. Obviously, I can't let him win.
Exactly.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, that was a good shot. All right. Now I know what to do now. All right. Now
Mhm.
I may need to get him into boxing or MMA or football or something to tame that energy a little bit and direct it in a way that's positive.
Let out that frustration.
But I'm like, he got a good shot. I'm gonna be somewhat proud of if I got a son and he's like, I don't want to fight you, daddy, or whatever. I don't know. I'm not happy about that. I don't know about you, Anton, but I
Oh,
wouldn't want
hell
that.
nah. Nah.
I wouldn't want that.
Nah.
I mean, yes, I'm your father. Yes, true, all that stuff. But I'm not trying to raise a kid that's like afraid to, you got to do what you got to do.
Right. And I think my
And
father.
mind you, and if I do have an old school mentality that says you're going to take care of me one day or you're going to have to fight for me one day, in my old age or whatever, let's say we run up against some people or whatever, you're going to be able to defend. So I think parenting needs to focus on that. To your earlier point, what friends do. Friends pick other friends up. Well, I think parents need to pick the kids that they have up. Again, that's nurturing. And I think parents have to understand that. Kids have to understand the authority that parents have.
True.
And there's got to be a balance. Again, the Bible talks about that. Bible says, yes, kids, honor your mother and father. Obey your parents. But then it also says, parents, do not provoke your children to wrath. Because understand, those kids are not yours forever.
Right.
They're going to grow up. They're going to have their own lives. They're going to be their own people. And ultimately, those kids belong to me. If I'm in God's place, they belong to me. All you're a steward of them for a certain period of time. After a time, I got them. Your job is to prep them up so I can take them. I can get with them. But so I think parents and children get this wrong because again, I don't think they've been necessarily taught what the role of a parent is and what the role of a child is. But I think if you want the healthy relationships, there has to be friendship. Otherwise, you simply have a fear model or an intimidation model. And a lot of those relationships aren't the healthiest. I know it's 40, 50-year-olds now scared to death of their parents. And I don't think that's healthy. That's all that is to me is trauma that never got resolved because both the parents and the child had an unhealthy view of what parenting is. So I hope I answered your question. I know I long stroked it.
Yeah, but before I up another question I want to bring up too. So Angel's also is asking, so let's say me and you are friends and we're trying to learn from each other. Would you consider us an equal as equal? I learn from you and you learn from me.
Oh, definitely.
In the meantime, hang out really fast. I'm gonna drop the link for Angel. Angel, if you want to come up, just click the link. Text me if you have any issues. I can walk you through it. I have the link right in the chat for you, my man. Here it is. If you'd like to come up, you're more welcome to come up having a mature, respectful conversation, of course. Go ahead, Paul.
So, yes, but that still has no bearing on the position. I think the issue still here is we got to deal with the issue of position. Yes, I mean my kids teach me all the time. I ask them questions all the time. It's like, look, what does this mean? Or talk about what you young people when you say certain things or whatever, and they'll ask me about certain things or whatever. Yeah, there's a mutual exchange of information, which I think is a good basis for friendship. but they're still an authority. They're not going to say, "Hey, Paul, how do you do this and that?" It's still, "Dad, how do you do this or that?"
Right.
Again, so you can have these things operating in parallel, or just like in the military, you can say sir or sergeant or captain or what have you. Now, Anton, from your military experience, can you have a friend who's a higher rank?
In some cases, you can, as long as you maintain military bearing.
And that's all I'm saying. And the
And-
same thing, yeah, and the same thing goes to parenting.
As long as you maintain that bearing, especially like within the NCO Corps, I learned a lot from a lot of the OGs who were in the Army for a lot longer when I first got in. And I learned to do the same thing before I finished out. All those new pups fresh out the gate, I'm mentoring them. I'm showing them the ropes. I'm guiding them.
That's why it's called first blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also-
I got
you're
a
right.
friend. Yeah, I got a friend who's in the ministry. He's a pastor. Now, again, in private, I may call him. His name is Marty. I may call him Marty. In private, in public, he is pastor. Now, he may say, "You don't have to say." Yes, I do. Why? Because you're my friend.
And I respect
When
the
you're
position
when you're
that
at these
in.
when you're at these events where all these pastors around, all these conferences, and you know, everyone getting together, and the bishop and all that kind of stuff is there, whatnot. It's a very etiquette is everything there.
Right.
I'll give
Now,
you
I'm
a good
nowhere-
example.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. Like I over the years being a chef, you know, I made friends with other chefs, and they used to be my boss. And as you know, keep contact with them over the years. When we are in the work environment, there's still chef no matter what. It's the ranking thing.
Right.
Now, if I'm just bullshitting with them, like, "Yo, what's up, dude? Like, what's up, Matt? What's up, Jeff? Whoever I'm talking to."
Mhm.
And because he goes, and they tell me all the time, "Pete, you don't have to call me chef anymore. I'm not your chef anymore." Like, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
you earned that
respecting.
respect.
I'm respecting your position.
And that's why I said earlier. As I said,
No,
you
adding to it, of course.
right. You
Right.
love the person. You respect the position. And in those cases there, I mean, you look at, I mean, even on TV, I mean, like Kirk and Spock and McCoy,
Yeah.
right? In private, yeah, they would get as raw as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
But Spock knows that he's the first officer. And as cantankerous as Bones was, that's still my captain.
Yep.
I may say something to him in private or whatever, but that's still my captain.
Exactly.
And you will respect the captain.
Mm-hmm.
So again, so you see, even I mean, Riker and Picard.
Yep.
I mean, Picard is as bougie as it gets in public, right?
Right.
In the, you know, Jean-Luc Picard. I mean, he's
Yeah.
you know, stiff upper lip type of guy or whatever.
Right.
But he can be, when he needs to, it's like, "Yo, Will." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
again, so there's those lines there.
You
that,
know where
So really
how.
fast, guys. I wanted to address the two comments really fast. Okay, so the first one is, okay, just want to understand how you view friendship. If I understand, you're correct. I do agree with the with you when it comes to parenting, but your kids friends, but there need to be clearly boundaries, and I totally agree with that.
yes,
definitely.
100%.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he
And
asked,
the
this is a question
right.
for me. So for that link, it's only for this show. But Angel, if you want to be a part of the panel, please just text me your email. I'll just put you on my list, and I'll
Yeah.
email you the link for the shows from now on if you'd like to go be
Yeah.
a part of it.
But I think that But I think that last comment,
Want me to bring it back up?
talk about the levels. Like I said, in my case, and I know in Anton's case or whatever, again, it changes. The boundaries can change over time.
Right.
Or you can open up. Like I said, when my kids were younger, I couldn't be Paul when I was younger. When they were younger,
Right.
because they didn't need Paul. They don't want to deal with Paul's issues.
Right.
But now, again, I'm like, I can be as transparent. I can talk about my fears. I can talk about my anxieties. I can talk about my hurts. I can talk about all of that. And again, it doesn't make me less in their eyes. If anything, it lifts me up in their eyes. Say, oh, he really is human.
Mm-hmm.
He really is, the respect. My daughter's told me personally that what I overcame as a kid, they respect me so much because I overcame those things. And so I can be myself. Now there's still dad, there's rules in the house. No alcohol in the house, no drugs. That's go out and do your business or whatever,
Do not bring
but
here.
don't bring it here. There's certain things I don't like. I don't like profanity in that. Now I'm not talking about like
Have you met
again. There
me?
could be profanity on TV. They're watching a show. They're watching. My daughter now is watching Love Island. I don't know why, but that's just a. But in terms of how you speak, and quite frankly, even how they speak to each other. Like I know they got that girl stuff and whatnot. They'll call each other the B word and all that. I was like, look, I don't like that. Like just don't. When you're
I
around me, there's certain language that I do not appreciate.
I have a friend like
And
that
I
too.
know they swear, but they don't swear around me, or they don't swear around your mother.
Right.
Like that, obviously there's certain things that we just don't that we just don't tolerate. But other things, they come and go as they please. We don't have curfews or anything like that. It's like y'all grown. But respect my house.
So respect your rules. You have put ground rules
Exactly.
in your
Yeah,
house.
which aren't a lot.
Not really.
I'm just, but I'm just saying, whatever that is. But I'm saying, but there's a sliding scale. Obviously, when they were teenagers and younger, yeah, we had curfew. You had certain things, places you can go, certain things you couldn't do.
Correct.
But again, I see a lot of parents, and again, back on the parenting side, who never let their kids grow up. I'm your daddy. I'm always your daddy. I'm your mama. Don't be asking me like that, or don't you? What do you mean check me? I'm your mama. You don't check me. I'm open to being corrected. If I say something wrong, if I'm wrong about something, you can check me. You can say that, but as you guys know, you better back up your facts. You better have your information. So
Uh-huh.
I got my fact checking. You better have yours.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm wrong,
So
I have no problem saying my bad. I have no problem saying I apologize.
That's the difference about your parenthood versus like other parents. I know a bunch of parents, they would never admit they're wrong, and that annoys the shit out of me. And like, come on, even me. Like, I know, like, well, my situation, I love my situation. I'm happy with my situation. I have looked at the kids, like these kids, like I fucked up. They laugh at me, like, you're gonna admit you're wrong. Yeah, because that makes you a better person. End of the day,
You
and
want
you
to
can learn
acknowledge
from
it.
my mistakes, so you don't have to make the same stupid mistakes I make. And trust
Right.
me, I make a lot of stupid mistakes.
Yeah. But I think, but to me that's a maturity thing, and I this is a gripe of mine also. Anton, a lot of guys, Gen X and older, we're supposed to be the OGs. We're supposed to be the Mace Windows. We're supposed to be the Yodas.
Yep.
They say, patience is a virtue,
Yes.
and I've never seen in all my life older people who are less patient
Oh my God.
ever. And so my thing is, we're not evolving like older people.
Uh-huh.
We're not. We're acting a lot more childish.
I know. And I've seen that, and I'm looking at this like, nah, this can't be. And the one thing I've always noticed, like with my nieces and nephews' friends that they grew up with, I tell my nieces and nephews, let them know how I am, let them know how I roll. Like, you just can't call me by my first name. You either gonna call me Mr. in my first name or Mr. in my last name. If I want to be a jerk, you're going to call me Sergeant in my last name because I earned that rank when I was in the Army. So they have an understanding. I don't have time for nonsense or shenanigans or the BS. But they know for a fact, and the thing is this, and my nieces and nephews have told them, if I'm messing with you, that means I care about your well-being. If I could care less, I could just ignore you.
And that's a good point, Anton, because I tell people the same thing. If I'm roasting you and having fun and cracking jokes, I respect you and I like you and I love you. If I'm not talking to you and I'm ignoring you and I don't even address your presence, get the hell away from me.
Right.
Very simple. And I know my relationship with my girl's daughter, aka I call her my daughter.
Right.
It's weird for people. Like, people look at me. You looked at me like, really? You guys? We wrote each other. That's a relationship we have because
you built that dynamic.
It took time for me to build that. It wasn't overnight. I'll be honest with you guys.
Right.
Like, I didn't jump in. I came in the first day, and like I said, it's earlier in the stream. When we and her started a relationship, we kept it private to ourselves.
Right.
And when we opened it up to the kids, they accepted me slowly to the point like I'm getting, text messages. Oh, I know you're my dad, but still happy Father's Day. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice. I'll be honest with you. But is the respect factor so high? There's,
right.
I would be damned if I lose that respect factor. That means
so and I built that dynamic with my. Ironically, I didn't just build this with my daughters. I built this with my nieces and nephews as well.
Yeah, and me and you have to have these conversations in private after the shows, like how I feel about this, and you know how I feel about this situation. I'm very, very happy, and me and you and Paul had the same conversation multiple times. You both know how happy I am, and hearing these kids getting better with my my mentorships, I call it. It makes me happy, to be honest with you guys. It makes me very proud.
Right.
It takes the little steps, these little things we can do, little tweaks, to make them better.
You mind if I share this picture of my two daughters right here? Mind if I share the photo?
If you feel comfortable, I'm more happy to show it.
All right.
To show you screen so I can improve you.
All right.
And no baby oil, please.
Shut up.
See, this is a good example for everybody who's watching. Me and how long we know Anton? 6 months we know each other officially.
A little bit longer. We've worked for about 6 months, but we know each other a little bit longer from other shows.
Yeah, so we actually got to get good together for like 6 months, but we built such a good friendship over the last 6 months. I think. And this is like we roast each other, but we're not mean about it.
These are my daughters. This is Zeta, and this is Kayla, and this is at Kayla's birthday. And
which one is what? I'm sorry. Now, which one is who?
This is Zeta, the one with the glasses.
Okay.
And this is Kayla, my other daughter. Kayla's older than Zeta. We fostered Zeta first, and then we fostered Kayla. And I told them both, listen, I know I'm not your father, but give me a chance to be your dad. And when they were ready to call me dad, they knew. And I remember I told you the situation, and when Zeta first called me dad, the situation with Kayla, they both called me up. They said, can you come pick us up? Where are you guys? We're in Jersey City. All right, I'm on my way. Got the address, drove her with no hesitation. Zeta saw me. She was happy to see me and everything else. Kayla saw me, gave me a hug and everything else. And then she was like, hi, Dad. Hi, Smiley. Because I got nicknames for them. I call Kayla Smiley, and I call Zeta Sunshine. Those are my nicknames for them. And they know no matter what, just call me. Anything you need, if you want to talk, or if you're in a situation, just call me. Now, they do have a relationship with my wife, but they have that very strong dynamic with me. Because I'm the first man to come into their life to care about their well-being from the stuff they had to endure when they were growing up, sadly. That's why I take pride in building those parameters with them. because I was the first man to come into their life that actually care about their well-being. And they never had that. And that's the shocker right there. That they never got it. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, they love their mom. They love my wife and everything else. They love, you know, their siblings and everything else. But when it comes to me, it's like they're very protective of me. They ain't gonna let anyone talk smack about me.
I will.
You know what I'm talking about. Shut up. You already know what I'm talking about.
You let yourself way too open right now for me to make that comment.
Yeah.
That's not love you,
I
but
gotta
you
start
know-
looking for my sham shield now. But you get what I'm saying. The fact that someone, like, the fact that they came to the situation despite the things they had to endure. And then I was just genuine and spoke to them, and they realized, wow, no stipulations, no strings, no this, no that, no. And that's important. People don't realize that how that is very important. And Paul probably can co-sign what I'm saying, especially when it comes to girls. They're looking for someone to give them validation. And I remember, and Paul, you've probably heard me say this before on BMU's show. Who's the first man to ever give these women their validation? Their father. Who's the second? Their husband.
Yeah. No, it's definitely important. But interesting though, where do you see, I guess, from your daughters, the respect? You talked about how they defend you, or they protect you.
Mm-hmm.
But in your view, how do they show you the respect?
Other than just calling me dad when they see me, sit down. Anytime, anything that they know I'm not going to be judgmental about, they don't have a problem calling, and they'll have a problem calling me, and we'll be on the phone for a good hour and a half talking about it, helping them come with solutions.
Let me clarify that, because, and this is something that, again, I'm kind of looking at this from my perspective as well. What you're saying is something where they need something. You said if they need to talk to you about something or what have you, it's something that they need. Then you're dad. But is respect shown when they have to give up something?
Yeah.
So I'm asking about that, because we talked about some of this on the John McClane. I don't know if you ever watched that show, the John McClane show that we did.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Because nobody respected John until John did something for them.
Right.
They wouldn't even call him dad. Daughter called him an a-hole.
Oh, yes.
In front of people.
In front of her boyfriend, actually.
Yeah, well, her sort of boyfriend, kind of
someone boyfriend, yeah. And then she would say her last, and then when he called her by her full name, Lucy McClain,
right?
It's not McClain, it's Jack, bro.
Yeah, she even said, "I thought you said your dad was dead." You were telling people I was dead.
And
so,
towards the end of the movie, her name switched to her.
So did Holly. The first movie.
Yes.
She was Holly Gennaro. She took her maiden job when she got the job with the Nakatomi Corporation.
Yep. She used Gennaro. Yep. I remember.
And then it was at the end of the movie, after he had to blow up the building and 200 bad guys and all that stuff. She's like, "Oh no, my name is Holly McClain."
Yeah.
I'm saying this, and again, I don't know if it's necessarily a woman's thing or whatever, but it just seems like the respect comes when they need you. where is the respect when it's not about needing you, but it's like, no, that's my dad.
Oh yeah, they
And there's certain lines I don't. So again, talk about that. How does that manifest? Because there's got to be, because I think true relationship or whatnot, I think there has to be a mutual level of things. If they're only coming to you, if they're only giving you that respect only when you can do something for them, then I don't know if that's necessarily the healthiest thing also.
I get what you're
But
saying.
we're talking
but
about if they have to sacrifice, because that's ultimate love is. Love is sacrifice.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I see that sometimes with girls, when you're doing something for them, even your wife sometimes, right? You do something for her, oh, I love you. Is she saying she loves you when you're being an a-hole? Or when she's not getting her way, does she still love you? You know what I mean? So now that might be a totally bigoted, sexist question that I'm asking. But I'm just saying the relationship says both of us, we have girls, right?
Yeah.
You have a son, but you have one son or two?
One. Carter.
One son. All right. So girl, so again, just nuancing this dynamic a little bit more. I think there's certainly a difference between having girls and having sons. And again, I don't have a son, but from what I'm seeing, a girl's love or respect for her dad. Later, Eric. Good. Thanks for being jumping on board tonight. Is a little bit different than the father and son thing. I think there might be a bit more respect from the son to son, especially if the relationship's healthy.
Right.
Girls, it's like you always got to be performing. It's like from Fresh Prince, when the daughter, who's the rich one, the spoiled one, Hillary, Daddy, I need $200. and he always capitulated, right? It's like, but when has she ever went out of her way for him?
Right.
Never.
So I'm just curious about that dynamic, having a son versus having daughters, since you're the only one who has sons and daughters, so you can give perspective to this. How does that look between your daughters and your son in terms of that interaction, in terms of that level of respect, in terms of that whole dynamic? Because I think it is different, and I would like to know from somebody who has both. And again, this might be a better question maybe 20 years from now when your son gets older and whatnot, because now you're dealing with adult children.
Right.
But I'd be curious to know how that dynamic, just from what you've been able to experience so far, how does that look?
Wow. I'm definitely tough on Carter because he's surrounded by sisters, so I'm definitely hard on him. Despite his current situation, he's on the spectrum, but I'm always tough on him because I don't want him to feel like that. How do I put it? I want him to make sure that he learns to stand on his own 2 feet. I don't want him to think that he has to get pushed around. I don't want him to think that he has to be allowed to do things that he does not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now my daughters, and I even told my nieces this. Here are the things you're not doing. You're not putting barrettes in his hair. You're not putting ribbons in his hair. You're not putting him in a dress. You're not putting makeup. You're not doing none of those things. You're not painting his nails, so on and so forth.
Right.
That's not happening at all, and they all understand. They never
I'm
give
glad
a problem.
you did that, Anton, because I know a situation of somebody who was, playing around, and unfortunately it got leaked in his school, and the poor guy got roasted so bad. And that's the thing, like, you might think it's a joke, you're playing around, it takes one picture, one leak,
Exactly.
And you're doing the right thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it's already difficult trying to be a guy now with all these new parameters on what's acceptable behavior for men and what isn't. And at times I'm looking at it like, you got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
When did becoming a man, or when did a man knowing how to stand on business become toxic? When did a man who had total assurance and confidence in his identity was now intimidating? It feels like you want us to have this lavender mentality, but yet you don't. But yet you want us to get our hands dirty when the time calls for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have it both ways.
Remember the show I did a while back? Please don't stop asking me to be a man, and I won't stop asking you to be a woman.
Right.
I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that's a big. That's a good point to that. What you're saying, because sometimes a woman needs to step back, and let us be a man, handle our
Right.
business, where our kids, our daughters, our son, or whatever the case is. But sometimes they want us to, step back. No, I'm not going to step back. This is my responsibility,
Right.
and people feel weird about it sometimes. Don't.
No.
And that's how we are. Don't feel bad. Don't feel weird. Don't feel anything. Except if you feel a certain way, just give me a big hug and a kiss and say, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Now, like, my wife is the oldest of 10. All right. My wife is the oldest of 10. And I remember when we started dating, I told her straight up, like, she asked me, like, how things were going. We were already getting close. And I told her, plain and simple, because she has 5 brothers, 4 of them were staying with her aunt and uncle. I said, I'm going to give to them what I got growing up, a strong black man with a foot in their ass. And I'm going to show you this picture. And this picture is very important to me. All right. And I think Paul saw this.
Oh yeah.
That's my dad. This is one of my favorite pictures of me and my dad.
Who's the baby?
That's Avery.
Mm.
And you know why why I see this as my favorite picture? This is my first Father's Day.
Mm.
And I got to share it with my dad.
Very cool.
How many guys can say that?
Not a lot.
Exactly. This is one of my favorite pictures for that reason. I got to share my first Father's Day with my dad. That's how powerful this picture is. And one of the things that I find myself doing now is whenever I see couples that are expecting, especially couples that are expecting their first, I'm high-fiving them. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Welcome to parenthood.
Yeah.
And I let them know, y'all got this. It's going to be okay. And the one thing I always tell the couples, and I let them both know. I tell the dude, Mother's Day weekend, you make sure she takes off. And I tell the woman, Father's Day weekend, you make sure he takes off. You're always going to have Mother's Days. You're always going to have Father's Days. You're never going to have a first Mother's Day, and you're never going to have a first Father's Day.
That's good.
And the only thing that kind of sucks with my wife for her first Mother's Day, unfortunately, was her mother had long passed. And it kind of sucks that my wife never had a chance to celebrate her first Mother's Day with her mom.
And that is unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? And you got the double edge also. Like my buddy CQ, when his son was born on Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was like a blessing in a way. And Jenny was meant to be a mother. I can see her in her eyes, on like how she talks to her kid and everything. Like, yeah, you should be a mother. Like, Only thing my advice to them was get one more and pop another one out. And he goes like, it didn't happen by now. It's not happening. They're happy with one. They're like, oh, okay. Don't worry
Never
about
say
it.
never. Never say never. I tell people that. They
Yeah, I
always,
said the same thing to him, but it's that we're getting too old now.
Mm-hmm.
how old is CQ?
But
CQ's
it's always the ones who have kids. Always ask to have more kids. When you having another one? I was like, when you having your first?
My mother
Like-
was the same way as soon as Avery was born. She was like that as soon as Avery was born. But the minute, she found out about, we found out about Carter, and then we were also fostering Zeta. Okay, she was happy. She was all happy and everything else. She was all happy and excited and everything. And it was just like, and now my parents love being great grandparents.
Yeah.
So to your original question, Anton, before CQ's 1 year older than me. He's 41.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jenny, his wife, is my age, about 40.
You're not
Okay.
supposed to tell her age on TV.
Hey, I'm too far away, she'll kill me. Because when I'm going to be visiting him, she's going to be in Florida. So I'm a safe goose for once.
Mm.
And I know how bad. I know how bad she's going to try to hunt me down. Like, Jenny,
she will because you
you
put her
cannot
age
give me
out
this time.
there.
things not like that. We just have a little joking back and forth kind of thing. But she's an awesome woman. She's a sweetheart.
I'm just letting you know. Don't be surprised. She calls you up saying you put my age out there for everybody to know. Watch. Don't be surprised. She gives you hell for that, man. I'm just letting you know.
With me and her, we have our ups and downs. But after 20 years knowing each other, I'm like, we're more like brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the fun part right there.
And playing pranks on each other is even funner.
Oh my God.
Like I said, if you really want to screw somebody, listen to me, both of you guys. If you're going to screw anybody, your family member, you're the poppers you used to throw as a kid.
Yes.
Take double-sided tape, put it under the toilet seat. Gently put the poppers on the tape. Gently put the toilet seat down. When they sit on it, oh man, it's gonna be some fireworks.
Oh, you are so wrong for that.
Oh, I got my girl with that. She goes, "Fuck, I broke the toilet seat." I'm like, "You're an asshole." Like, of course, like I had to get you, and I warned her. You're not gonna ever get me. I'm like, okay, and I got her.
Oh wow. Hold that thought. Just give me a minute. My dog.
All right.
Yep.
So, Paul, let me ask you a quick question here. All right.
Sure.
Do you feel respect is more important than the friendship with the children? I know that's a catch-22 question.
If you hold a gun to my head, I would say yes. I know certainly it's important to me. I'll say that it's important to me. But I think if there's respect and there's genuine love there, I can't help but friendship not be part of it. It's I think for me, and again, it's the perverse for, like I said, the fact that I have daughters and women. It's kind of like a catch-22 kind of thing, or it's like a circle, right? I think men run in terms of our fuel. I think men run more on respect than love.
Yes.
Women run more on love than respect. It doesn't mean that they're both not important. It's like a ratio, right? It's like a 92 grade. You got a certain percentage of respect and a certain percentage of love and whatnot. And I think the same ingredients, just like men and women have testosterone and estrogen, both of us. And we need a certain amount of both. It's just that women have a lot more of the estrogen than we do. They still need testosterone though. So I think in that regard, the way I look at it from a respect point of view, if that respect is there, then the fact that I love them, there's going to be friendship there. I'm going to ask them about how you doing.
Mm-hmm.
I try to, carve some time to go out with my daughters and said, look, let's have me and you just go and just hang out and just talk and grab something to eat and and just break bread. I mean, because I want to, as much as they're willing to share with me, how you doing? How's your love life? How's your job? How's
How's everything
things like,
going?
yeah, like that's just a natural thing if the respect is there. But if I feel disrespected, I don't even want to be around you. Like I can't tolerate disrespect.
Right.
The fastest way to shut down a conversation is disrespect. If you're not going to listen to me, if you're
Right.
going to try to disrespect like that,
Yes.
I'm like, it's done. We done.
You couldn't
Bye.
get away with
We're-
something like that. You couldn't get away with that type of response in a Haitian household, Paul.
Let
You
me
Right.
ask you guys a question because both of you guys are girl dads, right?
know? Okay.
And if I don't know if this conversation goes too far with it, and I do apologize if I get you guys grossed out. But if they can start talking to you about stuff that you don't want to know, like you know what I'm saying,
That
I'm-
stuff. That stuff.
the nasty, in other words.
Now I'm okay with it because, and I it's weird because when my wife and I we were kind of deciding who's gonna have the talk. It was gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? So I have no problem with. In fact, low key when I was in college, I actually thought about becoming a sex ad. They had this opportunity. You can through Rutgers, you can become like a sex advocate or like a.
Oh, okay. I heard
Like
about
I was gonna
that.
be that. I mean, at the time, I was into that. Like, remember Dr. Ruth Westheimer? Remember she used to have a show on her.
Yes.
I was into that stuff. I mean, not the but just because I never thought of sex as anything dirty.
Me
I
neither.
never thought of sex as anything untoward. It's natural. It's biological. It's all these things.
Right.
If you do it within the right parameters of relationship, it's a beautiful thing. And I never wanted my daughters to have an ick. Now they get an ick factor with us. If I kiss my wife at any time, they're like, like they just get grossed out. If I kiss my wife for any reason, or if I put her on the body, pat her on the booty or whatever, it's like they're like, Dad, that's disgusting.
That I don't do in front of the kids. The kissing and the whole.
Why not? Why not?
Oh, the patting
I
on
do
the
it.
boot. I don't pat the booty
Why?
in front of the kids.
Why?
No,
Pourquoi?
because my daughter had a situation with her on again, off again guy.
That's different. That's I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying this is where I think a lot of parents go wrong.
I'm actually going to back up Paul on this one because with my lady, I kiss my girl in front of her. I give her a little pat in the bud. I do all that stuff. And I want to show them this is a healthy relationship.
I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You talk about you're the first man in her life. She needs to know this is as a man. This is how you treat your wife, not
Right.
your girlfriend, not your someone you just fooling with.
Not someone in a
This is-
situationship.
Right, because and how much is in the dynamic of relationships? It's like, yeah, you sow your wild oats
Right.
before you get married.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get married, then you kind of settle down and you're a little bit more domestic. I'm like, no. I want you to sow your wild oats in marriage. I want
Yes.
marriage to be the spot. I'm kind of extreme. I'm a firm believer. Now, again, whether they do it or not, again, I can't control it. I believe in abstinence and celibacy before marriage. I believe in total debauchery and pornography in marriage. Total. Bring out the poles, bring out the chains, bring out the whips, and whatever you're into. Marriage that's your experiment room, that's your playroom, that's you do all your freaky stuff in marriage. Before marriage, tone it down. I believe second base in dating, I got no problem with.
Okay.
Maybe third, maybe second, third, kind of. But
okay, go for the
but-
double or the triple. Okay, maybe.
but not can't go for the home run. Not yet, but get married.
Get
and
this
then
first, and
then score as many runs as you possibly can. And so I'm very like my daughters. I'm like, yeah. I mean, no sex. I tell now whether they do it or not. I can't control that. But
Right.
again, no sex before marriage. But in marriage,
Have
if
all
you guys
fun.
ever have a
I've had
problem,
it.
you come see me. Now my wife will be totally embarrassed that I said that, but like I said, I've never been hung up about sex. I've never. That's just not who I've ever been. And I think again, we do our kids. We did a show maybe 4 years ago on BMU's channel, talk about the woeful lack of sex education that we give to our children. And then we ask, well, why all these things happen with the kids and all that stuff. And it's interesting too, because a lot of these parents get upset when they have sex ed in schools. So you got all these conservative parents talking about, I don't want my kid learning about sex in school and whatnot. That's my responsibility. Okay, well, what are you telling? Well, what are you telling them? You're not telling them a thing. Or you're telling these wives, says, oh, well, sex is dirty, it's sinful. Or if you have it, your penis will fall off. Or just all this nonsense that has no bearing in truth at all.
Right.
And my thing is, give it to them straight.
Yeah.
Now, again, I can't tell you what to do, but the safest, purest place to explore your sexuality is in marriage. That is a protected place, and it's also a journey. Like, I want you guys, don't think about just the initial, but you'll have the rest of your lives to explore one another in the protection of that institution. So I'm very intentional about that in what I tell my daughters, whether they want to hear it. I gross them out. So you talk about, or they come with the nasty stuff. No, I gross them out because I'm very transparent about that. And I think that self-knowledge, a major portion of self-knowledge is sexual knowledge.
Right. Definitely.
Those go hand in hand. And part of the responsibility in marriage is to help your partner understand who they are sexually. And if you're not willing to go there, then don't get married. But I'm just saying that it's okay. So there's no freaky stuff when it comes to marriage. Right. And your marriage bed is yours. You might be into stuff that I detest and not into. That's your marital bed. Let the marital bed, which is not defiled, that's Bible again. And whatever you guys do, chains, poles, whatever, wax, whatever, knock yourself out. As long as it's in consent and in love and respect. Don't force your partner to do something that they don't want to do. And they shouldn't be obligated to do something uncomfortable. But don't be afraid to explore either. You never know.
Right.
It's like, oh, I never knew it could be so good. Try it. If you don't like it, don't do it again. Simple.
Ironically, I had these discussions with my nieces and nephews too. And I think you guys know the story about the thing with my nieces. And even before I found out, I explained to them, listen, and I told my niece it's important. Anytime you're with a guy, you make sure he's using protection. You insist he uses protection. He makes an issue, that's it. Call it a day. I told my nephews the same thing. You want to have your phone with this young lady? That's okay. If she says something like, oh, you don't need to put that on, that's a red flag right there. Call it a day. Plain and simple. Unless you are ready, because here's the thing. If you're going to be doing these deeds and you're not using protection, then that means you're ready to be parents. And they looked at me like, exactly. If you're not ready to be a parent, always use protection. Always make sure your partner uses protection. If that person has an issue with it, that's a red flag right there. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question, Pete. But yeah, but that's a softball lob to me. Because I'll knock that out the park. I mean, and my daughter.
Like I said, when it comes to my kids, my daughter's kids and everything, you guys know I call them my kids, right. And I'm very transparent with everything with them. Like I kiss her, and she walks around, I go, she even my girl gets a kick out of her. She goes like. And I want them to understand this is a healthy relationship.
Right.
What they witnessed before me and her got together with her ex, that wasn't healthy. Right. Different than healthy and non-healthy.
Right.
And that's why they have transforms leaps and boundaries since I've been in a picture with them.
Because you gave him a space where they're away from the toxicity.
Exactly. And I do family night, for example.
Right.
Oh, that's always important too.
Oh yeah, and like they get a kick out of it. Like I told them, like this week we got two. One on Friday night, we're gonna be video game night, and they go, and my daughter texts me like, I don't know how to play video game. You're gonna learn. Good luck trying to knock out the king, the Kahuna. And I reply, well, like, my mom doesn't want to play. Like, oh, she has no choice. I'm giving her an option, and she's playing. And we're going old school. We're going Nintendo here, my man. We're going old school.
Bringing out the cartridges and all that stuff. Right?
I actually have the mini one. When they came out with the
okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
I have
about.
like 10 games, so I know how to carry all that shit with me. But I do have the Nintendo too. But my point is, I just do things to include them too. And there are times me and her just want to chill back and just watch a movie and let them do their thing.
Right. It's all about balance.
Exactly, my man. Like that's just one thing I like. And my girl tells me, I'm like, I got so lucky with you. I'm like I haven't done anything. Like what you do, most men don't do. You came into a relationship. I had 2 kids. You knew that, and you accepted them, and you took them on as your own. That's something about you.
I did date a woman. One ex-girlfriend I dated, we were together for about a year and a half, and she was I think already divorced from her ex-husband, and it unfortunately was physical. We dated for a year and a half, but what led to our breakup was there was still a good amount of drama with her family, and it kind of interfered with us. And for a long time, it took us a while to mend fences. Like, we're cool now. Like, we talk, we chat. Like, now she was working at the company. Like, at first, when she started working where I was at, it was like, okay. Now, it's got to the point where the dynamics are a lot better. Where, unfortunately, she ran into a real tough situation with her daughters, and she wrote her daughter out of her will because of her family. Like, her family literally was like...
No, mine's completely opposite. Actually, her mom and her dad loved the hell out of me. And they said, any man who's going to put your son in order because he needs a little guidance.
Right.
That man.
Right.
And her father came over to me, shook my hand. He goes, I have so much respect for you. It's not even funny.
That's even better. When you win the parents over...
Yeah.
And my in-laws aren't married to each other. I technically had 2 mothers-in-law, my wife's mother and my wife's stepmother, and of course her father. And when they found out we were getting married, automatically my father started calling me son. I was like, all right, cool. Her mother started calling me her eldest boy. From that moment to the day she died, she always saw me as her eldest boy. So, whatever I'm trying to figure out what was I doing. No, I was just being me.
And that's what I keep telling her. I'm not doing anything special. I'm doing what a man's supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
I'm in a relationship, a very healthy and happy relationship. I'm taking care of my family. That's how I look at it at the end of the day.
That's why my parents 56 years is in counting.
Yeah. And I had great role models. Like I keep telling you guys, like I had, I learned from Paul the last couple of years. I learned from CQ. My father wasn't the greatest role model, but I learned from you guys. And every conversation we have, it just gets a next level up and higher.
Yeah.
And small things she asks, I'm like, I don't mind doing it. And she goes like, it's a breath of fresh air for her from what she's used to.
Well, let me turn the question on you, Peter. Your father, is he your friend, or how do you view? Okay, so talk about that. What is
my father? When I was growing up, he only cared about working and making money and leave him the fuck alone. I remember my mom tells me this story all the time. I asked him for $1. I was very young, and he said to me and my mother, "The only thing you and your mother want is money from me." The next day, I got a job at that young age.
Wow.
And ever since then, I always made more money than him and everything. And he never hated me for that, but I know he He tried to be my friend slash become his son again when I became 21. And it was like, dude, kind of too late now. Like I have my friends now. I'm hanging out with
You
guys.
think so? Yeah, that's that.
Wow.
See, that's I I understand to a point because I talked about at the beginning, like depending on the generations, depending on the culture, I think there's a dynamic between parents and children that was a bit separate, right? Like I said, he felt, yeah, I'm supposed to feed you, clothe you, or whatever, almost like that fences type of thing, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, I don't care if you like me or not, you're my son. Like I provide these things, and there's no closest. I think that might be almost like a generational type of thing or
I think
cult
it
slash
is.
cultural thing.
It is. It's like I'm not doing this because I love you. I'm doing this because it's my job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
there's
what my dad, how my dad, and also like I always try to remember this is my dad never had a father figure growing up.
right.
Mm.
And as much as we tried and tried and tried, it always ended into a screaming match between me and him.
But
Because
why? Like what was the
he never understood the way I was thinking.
He
It was
said in
always
his
his way or
ways.
no way. That's how it always was been. I'm head in the house. You're gonna obey. Keyword: obey him.
right.
There's no argument. It's like if I tell you jump, you need to ask me how high. And I always like push back, like, no, I'm not a slave in his house. I'm your son, not your slave. And I have told him you wanted a slave, not a son.
All right, now Peter, let me ask you this: is this common within the Greek culture, or this was just this situation with your dad?
My dad's situation is unique, because it has on my dad. I've seen in other Greek cultures they're very close with their parents,
Yeah,
and
that's the thing because I
yeah.
remember friends
I'll
I
give
grew
a
up
great
with.
example. My buddy George, he owns the diner down the street from my house. He's his father is also a retired chef, like like my young, and he's very close to his father. And never argue. They butt heads once in a while, like
Right.
anybody, but not like my family is. Like my relation with my father is
Mm.
has been so broken at this point. As much try I have tried to fix it over the years, and I still try to fix it, it always ends up with the same thing. Always an argument. Always
Right.
just is you're not gonna tell me what to fucking do. I can tell you what to do. Like no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and then those are those things I said earlier. You
Yeah,
have
those
parents who have a mentality that they're always your parents, but at the same time, he never invested time in you to build a love bond, right? I mean, did he ever like play catch with you?
never.
Play Yeah, that's
He
you
never
know,
played catch. He never came to any of my tournaments. He never came to the game or when I played football. Like he knew a few things, but like say he used to love doing a movie night every other weekend with me. But it wasn't a movie I wanted to see. The movie he wanted to go see over.
you were just along for the ride.
Mm.
Yeah, that's yeah, and that's a thing. So I mean that type of situation invalidates the question of the night
Yeah.
because it's unhealthy. He didn't have any kind of reference or what have you. He thought he had his idea of what parenthood was, and clearly friendship was not involved. Getting close to your kids, giving your kid a hug, or carry him on your shoulders, or playing catch with you, or wrestling, or you know, no affection. And to me, that's not parenting. Like I said, parenting is about nurturing,
Yes.
not just providing. That's
I
why I
agree.
hated the father from Fences. His thing, he thought the only thing he owed his son was provision, but not nurturing.
I'll give you an example, Paul, with my son right now. Right, he feels like his father always screamed at him, always belittled him,
Oh
and every time I sit
wow.
down to have a
Yeah, I
conversation,
remember you told me about that.
every time I have a conversation with a young man, and I told him last conversation we had, I would never yell at you because I got yelled at. I'm gonna sit and talk to you. Am I gonna get frustrated at times and I'll raise my voice a little bit? I'm human, I went to him. It might happen. I'm not gonna deny that. But 9 out of 10 times, I will never raise my voice because I want to have conversation with you. And you are a free person to have your opinion back.
Right.
We're
Right.
having a conversation. You're not old enough to understand some of the adult
Right.
decisions that me and your mother make, but at least I can have the conversations with you.
Right.
Right.
Things.
And I think also that's a major difference between. I was watching a video not too long ago. It was comparing like baby boom parents versus Gen X. Like Gen X was maybe like the first parent that at least tried to sort of break the cycle of this idea of my way the highway and just having all these rules and structures. Like we kind of wanted to point where we didn't want that kind of relationship that we got, whereas for centuries or whatever, it was just generally accepted in the society. I mean, Anton, you were talking about that in a Haitian household. There's a way things are done. And even like I'm sure you notice the difference between Haitian Americans and Native Haitians.
Yeah.
Like you go if you lived for, I know you said you haven't been there for a while, but if you went back now and lived in Haiti for 6 months, you would see a dynamic that is kind of it's not what you're familiar with. It's not comfortable. It feels maybe oppressive to a large extent. So we were the first ones who tried to break out. Now again, I think maybe the pendulum swung. That's my phone. That's
I was like,
R2.
what the hell?
I was R2D2.
That was R2.
Like,
That was
whoa.
R2.
I was looking around. Where is that little fucking phone?
Like,
But I think we tried to do something different. I think the pendulum might have swung too far to the right or the left, wherever you want to call it. But the other way to say, hey, we'll just be buddies and we'll just play video games together and stuff, and never, you don't establish the discipline. You're slack with the rules and all that. And maybe it's kind of swinging the other way. But that's why I wanted to give nuance to both sides. I think that too much of anything, the authoritative, strict household is bad, and the house with no boundaries or respect or order is also bad.
you have to have a balance. You got to find a way to balance.
So
it.
with me personally, with the situation I'm in, and I love the situation I'm in. I'm not. I know I say the way I say it's kind of weird, but I am happy in my situation. There are times that I have to speak to him like a friend, and there are times I have to put my foot down. Like, no, we're not doing this. We have to do it this certain way, and I explain. I have to break it down for him so he understands. It's how he's mind work. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. So once I break it down, explain to him how it works, and then it clicks for him, we're good.
Right.
And there are times like I tell him, listen, you went too far, and we need to have a talk now. Right. And I told him last time we had a talk, like he went too far with a situation. I told him this time, I will have discipline action. He looked at me like, what are that supposed to mean? Like, manual labor is a lovely tool. I went to him. He goes, like, my girl comes up to me like, what are you going to do? I'm going to get the old school rotary grass cutter, whatever they're called, the outdoor motor. I'm going to cut them all 10 yards with that damn fucking thing. And it's all uphill and downhill. Imagine cutting those damn things, like that little thing moving around. Oh, he's never going to do that bullshit ever again. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that works better. And like, I know I mentioned about, me and you did a show, was a year, 2 years ago about, oh man, what was it called? Discipline a kid with physical discipline.
Corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment.
I don't have to do this with these kids because they're old enough to understand having a conversation.
Right. Well, that's and that's another aspect to this equation. Can you be friends with somebody who you're whipping? I mean, it's literally. I mean, that to me also is something that my wife and we were pretty intentional about. That I don't believe in corporal punishment. I don't. I believe in, again, setting rules and boundaries early, expectations, and it's at the very least it should be rare. But again, your parents' generation, older parents' generation, the belt was they had a rack with belts on it of different widths and sizes based on the level of.
In my case, I got spanked more times than I can count. Now with my girls, she told me twice in the whole lifetime of the kids. That's not bad. And it was like barely touching them.
Right.
But we are,
but it's hard to, you can't have, but again, it's hard to have a friendship dynamic.
That's exactly
when you have a trauma dynamic. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I shared some of the studies during the broadcast, talk about how it limits cognitive function. It does a lot of damage to a person. So again, can you even have that knowing that at some point, especially back then, I mean, they put welts on you. I mean, black and blue marks. I mean, a lot of stuff that today child
You
family
would get arrested
services and
now.
whatnot was just kind
Yeah,
of I mean, but that was the norm.
honestly, one of the things I remember, like one time when I was young, I got in trouble. My parents told me to go, like my parents would spank me and then put me in the corner. I was standing in the corner.
Yeah. So
Old school, my grandparents, it was they took grains of rice, they sprinkled it on the ground.
the knee one. I know.
Mate Ajunu, and you're kneeling
Kneel
on
on
the
that
grains
damn
of rice, and you're kneeling standing straight up. You're not sitting on the back of your legs. You're standing up in the corner with the knees on the ice at the same time. And I'm saying, like, this is torture. Nah, that's how us Haitians do it. I'm like,
So really fast before we close out the show because we're going overtime now. I think that's the issue with my father. It is trauma there. Even when I used to see a therapist, they mentioned it is a lot of trauma between my father. So unfortunately, as much I would love to fix that relationship, it probably my therapist even said that probably will never fix because he's not willing to come halfway to say, I messed up. I apologize. He, the couple times he did apologize, it's nothing about my relationship. It was like other stupid shit. And like he misplaced something in the house, like my bad, kind of thing. But let's get in our final thoughts and get heck out of here. Anytime you want to go first, Paul, you go second, and I'll finish up with the schedule.
all right, this was definitely a great discussion. Can parents be friends with their kids? Just of all, in ways you can and in ways you can't. In ways you can't when it comes to disciplining them and being that authority figure. And like Paul said, being in that position, you can't be friends. But other than that, but when it comes to speaking to them, guiding them, mentoring them, yeah, you can be friends. And that's always important for parents to do is to talk to their kids, to have that open dialogue. That no matter what, if your kids need advice, they should be able to go to their parents with no problem. Now, for me, definitely was culture. I know some things that never got addressed when I was younger, but I've had a way to address them on my own. But I also learned one of the things I can definitely say about my parents that I appreciate with them is there was consistency. There was continuity. And sometimes I think that's one of the problems that some young parents do is there's no consistency and continuity. So you don't have something for your kids to learn from and work with and what has to get done. And that's why it's important for parents. Yes, you can still be friends. Yes, you have to discipline them. But it's all about consistency and all about continuity. And that's all I got to say. And those are words we're thinking about.
Sometimes I've had to say even recently to my kids, you don't like this or not, whether you like to hear this or not, your mother and I are the best friends you got. And they don't necessarily like what we say. They don't like when we judge what they do. But it's true. Nobody is going to lay down their lives. It says there's no greater friend than this, that one that lays down their lives for their friends. No greater love one has that you lay down your life for your friends. Your mother and I are the only ones who are going to lay down our lives for you. So you may not always like what we have to say. You may not always understand what we're trying to do. But we're your friends. Really. And what I'm praying for in my household, that for my daughters, the three of them, that they understand that they're each other's best friends. When a lot of times they don't like each other either. But again, who says you're friends that you got to like them all the time? And I think really people have to really start to understand what friendship is. A true friendship will save your life. A bad friendship or a buddy will get you into trouble. A friend will pull you out of a fight that you don't need to have. A buddy will say, "Look, I'm about to fight somebody. I need you to come with me." Now, who do you want? So I think certainly today's parents have a lot of work to do to understand. Kids need a loving, nurturing, disciplined environment. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. This old school mentality, I clothed you, I fed you, what more do you want? I think that's dead. But at the same time, not having any rules or limitations, letting your kids do whatever they want, enabling, that's not healthy either. So yes, there's times when you have to be a parent. You have to define borders and rules. But then other times, you can talk to your kids. You can have a conversation. And when they're older or adults, you can be transparent with them. Give them the real. That's what a friend does. A friend is a one of confidence. I can tell you my deepest, darkest secrets in confidence, and not have you blab my stuff all over the place. That's friendship. So really, parents and young people, if you're Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever, you guys really got to understand. You think you got thousands of followers on IG, those are not your friends. And you better get an education quickly about what a friend is, or else you're going to find yourself lacking, thinking you got this. The sisterhood is not going to save you, or the brotherhood, or whatever, the gang, the whatever, none of that stuff is going to save you. But if you got good parents that care about you and your well-being, that are also at the same time being or willing to have a conversation and listen to you, that is a friend. So that's all I got.
Paul, anytime. Thank you for coming up tonight. It was a interesting conversation, but sorry about that. I do want to put a little my 2 cents in tonight. Being a parent and being a friend is a gray area, in my personal opinion. If you know how to tread the line correctly, and I hope you're not sleeping on my show.
No.
If you know how to tread that correctly, you can actually raise a very strong and responsible adult. And it takes time and patience. Again, I want to say this again: time and patience. If you have that, you don't need corporal punishment. You don't need manual labor. You can do anything. I parent a certain way. Anton does his way. Paul does his way. I'm not saying my way is right. Not saying theirs is right. What works for you and your situation works best. But let's do a quick schedule update, guys. Okay, tomorrow we're talking about high-rated movies that actually deserves the hype. Paul, you want to go with your show on for Wednesday? I mean Thursday.
Yeah. So certainly part 2 of our series on teaching to intelligence. So definitely looking forward to that conversation tomorrow. 2 more types of intelligence will be contrasted. How to teach that intelligence, what activities can stimulate that intelligence, and also what potential careers and opportunities can manifest from those things. That all these intelligence types are useful, and that we need to certainly appreciate each one of them. So look forward to part 2 of this conversation.
Yeah. We're going to be off the rest of the week. I'll do the holiday. Me and Paul decided we're going to take off Sunday just to relax and spend some time with our ladies, our families, and eat some good goddamn food. Yeah, that's pretty much it right now. I'm looking forward to that. Except that, guys, this was Spartan HQ Network. I am the Spartan. My man, Anton. My man, Mr. President, a.k.a. Paul, a.k.a. Mr. Bennett, a.k.a. the King of Prince of Boldness. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.